Hi, my name is Thomas, and no, that's definitely not me you see on the screen in front of you. That's actually a picture of a gorgeous girl. And during this video, I'm going to show you how it's not just possible, but actually fairly easy for average-looking guys to pick up girls this hot. I've had sex with hotter, and honestly, you're probably better looking than me. But I need you to know something. There's no chance in hell you'll find a girl like this one through one of those all-too-familiar banner ads promising sex anytime you want it. You know the ones I'm talking about. The ones that tell you there are 301 sexy singles in your area waiting to have sex. Yeah, right. Because you just happen to live in the one place on earth with a bunch of smoking hot girls all trouncing around, asses hanging out, looking to have sex with any random guy they meet. Breaking news. Place above does not exist. Look, dude, I hate to break it to you, but it just doesn't happen like that. But is there any way to pick up those 10s all your buddies wish they had? Yes, absolutely. 100% yes. It's actually easier than you think. And has very little to do with the amount of money you have, how good looking you are, how buff you are, what size your unit is, or any of that stuff. What does it have to do with? That's what I'm going to teach you in this video. Honestly, I was a little hesitant even putting this video online because I'm going to let you in on some downright ninja seduction secrets. I really have no interest in becoming some big name guru in the spotlight all the time. After all, I'm just a normal, average looking guy who's discovered a gold mine for picking up impossibly hot girls. So how do I do it? Funny thing is, I accidentally stumbled upon this secret by having a panic attack before doing a presentation at work. I'll tell you this story in just a second, about how I got access to private files and research papers from the best therapists in the world, and somehow figured out how to use the same thought-changing techniques they were using on their patients, but instead used them on girls I wanted to sleep with. Some people might say I'm tricking women into sleeping with me, and I suppose in a way, I am. But it's not like I'm being unethical, or lying to them or anything like that. I just figured out a way to tap into their core desires, the primal urges they have deep inside their brains they don't even realize are there. It's the kind of stuff that allows me to meet a girl at a hotel bar and within an hour have her bent over the bathroom counter literally begging me to go deep inside her. The kind of stuff that can take a girl who claims she never gives head, yet she not only gives me head, but lets me blow my load all over her face. All of this comes down to a single principle: exploiting a loophole in the human brain which makes her connect me with the strongest orgasm she's ever had. And by the time you're done with this video, that's exactly what I'm going to show you how to do. This is all about leveling the playing field so that guys who are short, fat, old, or ugly can still seduce and date beautiful women on demand. The girl will pick you over the rich, handsome guys she usually goes for. And what's even better about this system is when you use these tactics on women, you make her feel great. She just can't figure out why. The naysayers claim it's sneaky, but I don't think so. After all, the end result is both you and her feeling amazing at the end of the night. And if you're looking to find an actual girlfriend and not just a one-night hookup, it'll prevent her from ever cheating on you. Now, I know all this sounds like science fiction. After all, any normal guy would never be able to walk up to a random girl and have her salivating over him within a few minutes. To have her doing the most dirty, porn star-like stuff to you in bed the first time you ever sleep with her. But as you'll see in this free presentation, it's actually a proven science fact. I'll even show you the famous experiments that prove without any shadow of a doubt that this is not just possible, but actually rather easy. But I have a warning for you. You have to watch this video in full, right now, because it's not staying up permanently. The content is so sensitive that once it's leaked into the general public, I'll be pissing off a lot of therapists around the world, because I'll be revealing the same techniques they spent upwards of $100,000 to learn and use on their patients. You'll instead be tweaking that information to magnetically attract any girl you want. To help you understand what I mean, I want you to picture the following scene. You walk into a bar, and a woman is there. It doesn't matter what woman. Maybe it's a girl you're actively trying to hook up with now, or a girl you think is out of your league, or hell, even a celebrity. You stand next to her at the bar, and can't believe how beautiful she is. Huge, firm tits, beautiful ass, big, soft lips. As you see her in your mind, you realize how much you want her. Like, now. You ask her one of the questions I'll give you in a few minutes. She looks at you, pauses, and then a big grin spreads across her face. She answers you and you start chatting. You make her feel different. She can't quite put her finger on it, but you make her feel really good inside. Yet, you're not using any cheesy compliments or chat-up lines. She finds you intriguing. After an hour or so, she suggests you get out of there and head somewhere private. She is staying in a hotel room around the corner. You could get a drink in the hotel bar. But when you get there, she decides to just skip the bar and go to her room. The moment the door closes, she pushes you back onto her hotel room bed. She does a lap dance for you, getting you so hard you think you're going to burst out of your pants. After a few minutes, She slowly undoes your belt and slides your pants off as she stares at you with her big, sexy eyes and shoves your dick into her soaking wet mouth. Then you spend the entire night having sex in every position there is. She is the one taking charge, telling you exactly what she wants you to do to her. And at the end, she moans and shakes uncontrollably as you give her the most powerful orgasm she's ever experienced. When morning comes, you wake up and she's snuggled into your chest. You smile to yourself. She didn't stand a chance. Now, how do you feel? Like the thought of that? Good. Let's make that kind of thing a reality for you. While I can't guarantee you'll sleep with your favorite celebrity, I can guarantee you'll be seducing the most beautiful women in your town. To explain how to do this, let me show you how I stumbled across it. Back in my childhood years, I was a shy, geeky-looking kid. So geeky, in fact, I was bullied every day. The guys would hit me, but their punches were nothing compared to the pain I felt when the girls in class would call me ugly and laugh at me. Every day I would do my best to avoid doing anything that gave them an excuse to laugh at me or humiliate me, but they did it anyway. When I left school, I thought that I'd be able to start again, a new me. Unfortunately, that didn't quite happen. I started a new office job, and everything was going well for a year or so. I kept to myself, and while I didn't really have any good friends at work, it was nice not to be bullied every day. One day, things took a turn for the worse. I was asked to do a presentation in front of my colleagues. As soon as I was asked, I started to feel really anxious about it. Then, as the day got nearer, I struggled to sleep. On the morning of the presentation, I had a full-blown panic attack. I rang up work and said I was ill. I just couldn't face it, but my damn boss persisted. He rescheduled it for next week. I had another panic attack the night before, and I think my boss got the hint. He told me I could skip the presentation if I agreed to see a therapist about my anxiety issues. A few weeks later, I had my first session. He asked me how I felt about therapy. I told him I thought it was bullshit. I didn't believe I could be changed. Anyone can be changed, he said. Your brain is what's causing your panic attacks. It's triggering thoughts and emotions connected to your past, but it can be fixed. You just have to know how. And that's what you're paying me for. A big smile spread across his face. I thought he was crazy. Over the next few minutes, though, he told me about a famous experiment by a physiologist, Ivan Pavlov. Maybe you've heard of him. His experiment in the 1890s is known as Pavlov's dogs. Pavlov would ring a bell each time he put food in front of his dogs. Then he would measure their saliva levels to see if their mouths watered. The dog's saliva would increase each time the food was put in front of them, much like a human's mouth would if a big steak was put in front of us. He repeated this procedure several times. He put the food in front of the dog and rang a bell as he did so. Then he would measure the increase in saliva. Here's the interesting part. After a while, Pavlov could just ring the bell and the dog's saliva would increase, even when there was no food in sight. The dogs had formed a connection in the brain between the ringing of the bell and getting the food. The result of this association was their mouths watered. This reaction in the dog happened instantly and automatically. The dogs had no choice in the matter. The bell would ring and their mouths would water. They had been unconsciously programmed to associate the bell with food. This is known as classical conditioning. I had heard of this experiment before in class and was getting bored. But he continued. Psychologists weren't sure if humans could be conditioned in the same way. So in 1920, a man named John B. Watson carried out another famous experiment known as the Little Albert experiment. Little Albert was 9 months old. He was shown a white rat, a monkey, a rabbit, and various masks in order to scare him. But he showed no emotional reaction. They did not affect him at all. He showed no fear. However, what did scare Albert was when a hammer was struck against a steel bar behind him. The sudden noise startled him and made him burst into tears. Once a week, for the next 7 weeks, the rat was put in front of Albert, and at the same time, the hammer was struck against the steel bar behind him. Can you guess what happened next? By the end of the 7 weeks, every time Albert saw the rat, he would cry, even if the noisy hammer was not used. The ethics of this experiment might be a little hazy, but it led to a profound discovery. Humans can be conditioned too, just like Pavlov's dogs. This is all interesting, I said, but what has this got to do with me? Everything, he answered. You were bullied at school. That meant you felt embarrassed and humiliated in front of your classmates. Is this correct? I nodded. Did you feel embarrassed when you had to talk in front of your class? Yes, I stuttered uncontrollably and got so nervous I could hardly speak. The therapist smiled. With Pavlov's dogs, the ringing of the bell made their mouths water with pleasure because they had built up an unconscious connection between the bell ringing and the food. With little Albert, the rat made him feel fear because he built up an unconscious connection between the rat and feeling scared. You have built up the unconscious connection between speaking up in front of others and the feeling of humiliation. He then said the few sentences that changed my sex life forever. Human beings, very quickly, make unconscious connections between things. If they experience something that makes them feel good, they will want to experience more of it. If they experience something that makes them feel bad or scares them, they will avoid it. This is called the law of effect. When you were asked to do this presentation, your brain unconsciously searched in your memory banks for similar experiences in your past and found your painful memories at school within milliseconds. This triggered anxious feelings and eventually your panic attacks. The therapist paused and looked at me, waiting for a reaction. I felt a flutter of excitement in my stomach. Things were starting to make sense. So I wasn't born with low self-confidence and panic attacks, I asked? Absolutely not. Your brain just likes to protect you from getting into situations that are similar to the ones in your past that made you feel bad. So, it causes you anxiety to try to make you avoid getting into similar situations. The problem is, the brain isn't always right. A bad experience in school does not mean every time you speak up in front of someone, you feel humiliated. In this case, the connection it has made is faulty. All we need to do is rewire those connections using cognitive behavioral therapy and help you to develop self-confidence using neuro-linguistic programming, and you will be a brand new man. Brand new man. I like the sound of that. Over the next few weeks, the therapist introduced me to some pretty cool tricks I had never known existed. One of them I'll give you now that you can start using right now if you want to. It's called anchoring. Anchoring is a tactic used in neuro-linguistic programming, or NLP. NLP is a mind technology used by the best behavioral therapists in the world to get people to rewire their brains in as little as a few seconds. My students use anchoring to boost their self-confidence at an internal level, but also be able to tap into it on demand whenever they want, such as at a bar right before talking to a smoking hot girl. Here's one example of how to use it. Put on a piece of music that really gets you pumped up and excited, something that makes you feel powerful, like you can achieve anything in life. As you listen to the music and feel positive emotions, squeeze your index finger and thumb together hard on both hands. Do this 5 or 6 times throughout the song, and repeat the process 5 times a day. After a few weeks, you'll be able to squeeze your thumb and forefinger together and feel the same power and positive emotions you did when the music was playing, but you'll be able to do it without needing the music. Your brain will have developed a connection between squeezing your fingers together and feeling confident, and you can use it anytime you want a surge of self-confidence. Pretty cool, huh? I once used this at a bar before approaching a girl so hot most guys wouldn't even try, and had her sucking my cock and doing things so nasty in bed, I don't even think I can talk about them here. Anyway, over the next few sessions, we set up a few more of these anchors and other tricks to boost my own self-confidence. I'll talk more about these a little later. We also use cognitive behavioral therapy to rewire the belief I had unconsciously created that public speaking equals humiliation. Soon, I had got rid of that belief and replaced it with a positive one. I eventually did the presentation, and my boss said I was amazing. This whole process took just a few weeks. I now knew this mind stuff worked, but a little question had been rolling around in my head. So the next time I walked into a therapy session, I asked him the following question. I know this may sound a little silly, but is it possible to get other people to connect with you the feelings of positive emotions and pleasure? In the same way Pavlov did with the dogs, the bell and the food, or the NLP anchoring trick? I held my breath as I waited for the answer. If my theory was right, I'd be able to lose my virginity in no time. He took off his glasses and smiled at me before saying the words that set me on my journey. He said, "This is one of life's greatest secrets. A secret that is out in the public eye for all to see. But people are so caught up in themselves, they miss it. If you make others connect you with pleasure, you'll never be short of friends. It's very possible when you know how." It was music to my ears. I wanted friends. I also wanted women. Lots and lots of women. I left his office that day with my heart pounding with excitement. I knew I was onto something. Over the next few months, I spent countless hours digging up the most advanced behavior modification reports, lectures, and experiments online, each time figuring out how I could apply the information used by psychotherapists to use on girls I wanted to sleep with. Sneaky, huh? For example, I somehow dug up an audio lecture recorded at MIT, a private research university in the United States. In this lecture, a professor is speaking about the law of effect, just like my therapist had. If something feels good, you want more of it. He talks about how, when he was a student himself, he and a few classmates decided to test the law of effect on a lecturer who had come to his university to do a talk on psychology. While the lecturer was speaking on stage, if he walked to the left, a big section of the class would smile and start taking notes. They would not do this if he was in the center or the right of the stage. By the end of the class, the lecturer spent almost all his time on the left side of the stage. After class, when he was told about the experiment, he laughed and said he was completely unaware of what had happened. His brain had unconsciously connected that when he walked to the left, his students did what he wanted, and this made him feel good. This was all completely outside of his awareness. He had been unconsciously programmed by the students in his class. The point is, if people carry out an action that makes them feel good, they will continue doing it. and you can condition people to carry out these actions without them being aware of what's going on. I needed to try this out, so after a few months of research, I finally got the courage to actually test it in the real world, with real women. Keep in mind that before this, I had literally never successfully picked up a girl, and this is embarrassing to even admit, but at this point in my life, I was 22 years old, and still a virgin, so I wasn't shooting for the moon. Honestly, my first goal was to simply start a conversation with the female I'd never met and not get rejected. I just wanted to have a woman smile within the first 10 seconds of meeting me. That was it. You may think I'm a loser for just wanting to get a smile from a woman, but remember at this time, I was a virgin without any real friends. So here's what I did. Pay attention, because there are subtle tweaks in here that I usually only show my students, and they're extremely powerful. First, I picked up some travel brochures from my local travel agents and went to a coffee shop. I saw a girl sitting by herself, so I sat at the table next to her and flicked through the brochures. After a few minutes, I spoke to her. Hi, quick question. I'm booking my parents a holiday as a gift for their anniversary. Can you recommend anywhere nice? Money is no object. I have to book within a few hours and I'm struggling. The girl's face went blank at first. I think she was a bit shocked a stranger was speaking to her. But then after a few moments, I got what I wanted. A big grin spread across her face. I went to Florida in the United States last year. It was amazing. Such a beautiful place. I ended up chatting with this girl for about 5 minutes about her trip to Florida. She was smiling and laughing and telling me all about her trip. I didn't say much, probably because I was stunned it had worked. After a few minutes, I thanked her and left. I walked around the corner and punched the air. I had got the reaction I'd hoped for, and here's why. By asking the girl if she could recommend anywhere nice on a holiday, her brain didn't have enough time to stop and think, why is this guy trying to speak to me? Instead, my words triggered her brain to zip through her memory to find previous holiday experiences where she had a great time. It took milliseconds for her brain to find one, because she was remembering something pleasurable. She felt good. I had made her feel good with one simple question. More importantly, it connected me with pleasure. The blank look was her brain kicking into action, and then a big smile as she remembered Florida. Now this is very important when it comes to seduction. Listen to this. From a young age, all children, especially women, are conditioned to not speak to strangers. This is one of the reasons it's so hard to start a conversation with a woman. As soon as you try to start a conversation with a woman you don't know, her defense goes up unconsciously. This is also because she has been approached over and over again by men who use cheesy lines or are clearly just after sex. So she is conditioned to reject a man instantly, unless she is physically attracted to him, which is no good for guys like me who don't have movie star looks. However, by asking her a question that makes her feel good virtually straight away, you are stopping this conditioned response before it has time to occur. She hears your question, and within seconds, feels good. This means she will be open to speak to you. I call this emotional hijacking, and it's phase 1 of my seduction system I'll tell you about in a few minutes. Before that though, let me give you another easy conversation starter. All you do is walk up to a woman and say, "Excuse me, I need some womanly advice. My sister has just given birth and wants me to help name the baby. I'm so excited about the chance to name my beautiful niece, but I've hit a blank. Any ideas?" Man, wait until you try this one. You'll see the faces of any woman around you light up. Anything baby related works amazingly well with the ladies, because it triggers the internal mother in them that has been built into women's minds since the caveman days. Not only does this conversation starter trigger happy feelings and excitement, it also shows that you're a caring uncle. Thanks to the words, "my beautiful niece," you'll get an "aw, how cute" response from the ladies. If you really want to make this one powerful, take a picture of a friend's baby, or get one on the net, and use it on your mobile phone. Show them a picture telling them this is your niece. Isn't she gorgeous? Trust me, a man who loves babies sets off all sorts of crazy connections and desires within a woman. And just in case you're wondering, I don't have a niece. Some of my students don't like creating a fake story like that, which is fine. I have dozens of conversation starters that you can choose from. The point is, can you see how an approach like this both eliminates rejection while also connecting your face with pleasure instantly? It's a very different approach than you'll probably hear if you've read any seduction books by self-proclaimed pickup artists. Those are jokes. For example, one of their techniques is to compliment a girl to start a conversation. So you might say something like, "Hi, I'm Thomas. That dress is beautiful." Wrong. I tried this once. The girl literally laughed at me and walked away, without saying a word. I felt like the biggest loser in the world, completely humiliated. The problem is that most guys try to pick up a girl with an instant compliment. When everybody does it, she connects instant compliment with trying for sex. If you follow that kind of advice, you'll lose before you even start. You might pick up a few really easy, loose girls, but you'll get rejected 9 times out of 10. I'd much rather just eliminate rejection altogether by using one of my rejection-proof conversation starters that makes her feel warm inside instantly due to her past experiences in life. This way, when you start a conversation, she'll look at you and get a warm feeling, and you made her feel that way. Even if she thinks you are damn ugly, she'll still connect her feeling good with you. Women can only reject you if they think you're trying to seduce them. But when you start a conversation in this way, you come in under the radar. You don't set off any preconditioned defenses against strange men trying to take advantage of her. In my own personal experience, in the experience of all my thousands of students, we figured out that this approach starts a conversation about 95% of the time. That's 19 out of 20 times. Anyway, starting a conversation doesn't get you laid, so I decided to research the next level, building attraction to the point she wants to take you home, and do things you usually only see in porn films. I read all kinds of textbooks on many different topics, from neuro-linguistic programming to persuasion, and even weird things like conversational hypnosis. Some of the tricks I found were nothing short of mind-blowing. For example, on page 174 of his book 59 Seconds, Professor Richard Wiseman says this: "To help promote the chances of a successful date, choose an activity that is likely to get the heart racing. Avoid slow moving, classical music concerts, country walks, and wind chimes. Instead, look towards suspense-filled films, theme parks, and cycle rides. Your date will attribute their racing heart to you, rather than the activity, convincing themselves you have that special something." Clever, isn't it? Get a woman's heart racing and she will attribute it to you. And when a woman's heart races when it comes to a guy, it's connected to desire. This is written in a book by a famous psychology author. It isn't a book on seduction. It's about the human mind. I read so many books and listened to so many lectures. I would pick up a tip here, a trick there, a strategy somewhere else. And it was my first attempt that finally got me laid and helped me lose my virginity. Here's what happened. It was a Thursday evening. I went to a bar after work with my colleagues. I had decided I was going to test my theory that evening on an ugly girl. Because if it doesn't work on an ugly girl, how would it work on stunning blondes I planned on seducing very soon? I later realized that it's easier to sleep with smoking hot girls because nobody else has the balls to approach them. And I have training-specific techniques to getting these types of girls. But let's get back to the story. So there I am at the bar and I spot an ugly girl who fits my criteria. I use a conversation starter. I get her heart racing. I get her to tell me stories when she felt confident. Then ask her questions about what turns her on, using tricks to get her to connect me with amazing sex. A few drinks later, I was inside her in an alley behind the bar. Not the most romantic way to lose my virginity, but I was on top of the world. As she pulled up her panties, she said the words that nearly got me hard again. "You're not usually my type, and I never do one-night stands. You are obviously special," she said with a grin. This was the beginning of a sex life that all my friends envy. My work colleagues mocked me for sleeping with the ugly girl that night. But a few weeks later, when I slept with the stunning barmaid they all tried and failed with, they couldn't believe it. Over and over again, they watched as I left the bar or club with the hot girl, and they'd be sipping on their drinks and going home to their right hand. The thing they struggle with is they're all better looking than me. One is a bodybuilder. One drives a fast car his daddy bought him. Another has a massive dick. Or so he says. Yet I'm the one who gets all the girls. And I do it without ever having to risk rejection or use silly pickup artist techniques. I do it by using a 4-step seduction system which makes women connect you, on an unconscious, emotional level, with excitement, pleasure, and orgasms. I call this the Subliminal Seduction system, and it's the most comprehensive, advanced course for attracting gorgeous women using subtle psychological tricks most people aren't even aware of. I've even added a few extremely powerful bonuses that I'm giving to anybody who decides to invest in the course in the next 15 minutes. I love rewarding action takers, so once that timer reaches 0, the bonuses will go away. I decided to create this system after years of using it myself, because I literally know how you feel. Staring envious at girls you think are way out of your league, daydreaming about them riding you like a bronco until they have a screaming orgasm. I know what it's like to have low self-confidence and be depressed that life is passing you by. I know what it's like to be short, fat, ugly, and broke and hate the way you look. But I also know what it's like to have a real-life porn star ride you reverse cowgirl because you rewired her to associate you with pleasure she wasn't getting from guys with much bigger dicks than yours. And I know what it's like to live a life so exciting that every time you go out, you know you're gonna have fun and a story to tell your buddies the next morning as they listen to you, wishing they could live one day like you live every day. For the past 6 months, I've been writing down my Subliminal Seduction system. This is the world's only seduction guide that covers the topic of getting women to quickly associate you with positive feelings, such as confidence, pleasure, excitement, exhilaration, all the good stuff women are desperate to feel. The system works no matter what you look like. No matter how ugly, fat, hairy, or lonely you are, I can help you get laid. Because unlike other courses, this is not about you. It's about her and her emotions. Let me illustrate what I mean. Other seduction experts teach you something called a neg. This is where you say something intended to humiliate the girl you want to sleep with, The idea is you show her that you're not that bothered about her, and this makes her want you. Now think about this for a second. You want to seduce a girl, so you make her feel bad. Absolute morons. If you buy into that kind of crap, my course probably isn't for you. I'm not looking to attract conceited assholes who think they're God's gift to the world. I'm trying to help real guys get real women, more consistently and without rejection. It doesn't matter what you look like. Women are not stimulated by visual appearance. That's not what turns her on. It's how you make her feel that turns her on. You see a million men's porn magazines because we just want to look at hot chicks. But how many women's porn magazines do you see? None that I know of. Or take the best-selling book, 50 Shades of Grey. It's a worldwide phenomenon that is getting women everywhere wet. It's basically a written porn book for women. And it's sold faster than nearly every book in history. Why? Because the descriptions in the book emotionally stimulate women. There are no pictures, just vivid descriptions of the naughty sex that women secretly crave. My course helps you become the main character in your real-life version of that book. Yes, maybe you could somehow figure out how to do it all on your own. I can tell you that it took me years to figure out how to do it properly, and that's only because I have some pretty advanced internet skills that let me find the information usually reserved for master's degree level therapists. Plus, I was completely desperate. The fact is, wouldn't you rather just have me show you what I've learned and tweaked, and just go out and get laid instead of sitting in your room like a dork for the next year trying to figure it out yourself? I have a feeling you'd rather just do that. If I'm right, let me tell you more about what I'd like to show you how to do. I spent about 3 years testing and tweaking these techniques, both myself and with private students, and put it all into my Subliminal System course. Remember, it also comes with several unique bonuses I've created to give you more of a step-by-step guide to taking action fast. I put a timer on this page, and once that timer reaches 0, those bonuses go away. They're for fast action takers only. Now let me give you a little more detail about it. Inside the course, you'll learn how to use advanced NLP techniques so you'll never feel nervous around a woman again. How to pick up 10s, even if you're just average looking. A sneaky trick that connects your face with the best sex that girl you're talking to has ever had. Proof that you can get people to associate something positive and pleasurable with anything. Hint, advertisers use this all the time. The Tom Cruise trick for overcoming the fear of what other people think of you. Body language tricks that trigger years of evolutionary desires in females and makes them desperate to speak to you. Why a caveman would have more chance of seducing beautiful women than you, even though he's ugly, hairy, and smells. The one single element all women look for in a guy and how to ensure you give off this vibe with 3 magic words. The 4 unconscious needs every woman has and 3 questions to ask her that will show her you can provide all of them. The 6 I want to have sex body signals all girls give off, and how to spot them in seconds even in a crowded bar. Mind-reading secrets that will tell you exactly when she wants you to kiss her and take her somewhere to get down and dirty. A blueprint for making any woman fall in love with you within a few weeks, perfect for those guys looking to settle down, rather than a one-night fling. Simple exercises that make you the funny, confident guy in the room, the one all the girls want to sleep with. Eye contact techniques that show women you're in charge of the situation and are a strong male, even if you're not. Cognitive behavioral therapy techniques you can use to see through the social bullshit that makes you think it's hard to approach and seduce models, celebrities, and porn stars, and shows you how easy it really is. The 7-step formula for getting women in bars to come to you. Walk in a bar, sit down, and put this formula in place. You'll be able to take your pick from the conveyor belt of beauty that approaches you, the most common sex killers, and how to avoid them. Location-specific scenario training where you'll learn what to say in locations such as a cafe, a bar, a nightclub, and more. Use the wrong technique in the wrong place and you'll end up looking like a needy pervert. The only technique you'll ever need to ensure you get a girl's number every time without any chance of rejection. A secret strategy to have a girl begging you to tie her up and use every one of her holes for pleasure. Hint, we have the book 50 Shades of Grey to thank for this one. The 4 types of women, and how to pinpoint the type of woman to approach depending on if you want a one-night stand, a relationship, a friend, or an enemy, and much, much more. Under this video, you'll see a big button. Just click there to get started. You'll be able to download the entire course instantly, and depending on when you order it, might be able to go through it and try it out tonight. And remember, if you order before the timer hits 0, I'll throw in 2 special bonuses I reserve only for those who can make a quick decision and take action now. Those bonuses include Bonus 1, Embedded Influence. In this bonus, I'll give you a full report with the number of questions and lines to say that automatically make her brain jump to conclusions that she wants to sleep with you. For example, let's break down that first conversation starter I gave you in the beginning of this video. It went like this. Hi, quick question. I'm booking my parents a holiday for their anniversary. Can you recommend anywhere nice? Money is no object. I have to book within a few hours and I'm struggling. Inside of that question are two embedded thoughts. An embedded thought is a principle taken from hypnotists which tells the subconscious what to think. I'm booking my parents a holiday for their anniversary tells the woman's subconscious this is a caring guy. Money is no object tells the woman's subconscious this guy has money. Doesn't matter if you don't. You can break that news after you slept with her. It was her that jumped to that conclusion after all. She just won't know where she got the idea that you were rich in the first place. This is just one of over a dozen different opening lines I'll give you so you can tweak them as necessary to fit your own preferences and life experiences. Plus, you'll also get bonus 2, female body language. When it comes to seduction, body language is vital. In my research, I found case studies that showed 93% of communication is nonverbal. In other words, body language is more important than anything else. According to research by famous male-female interaction expert Timothy Berber, 96.7% of men do not recognize when a woman is giving off signals that she wants to be approached and seduced by someone. Leo Lone, another famous romance expert and author, says that by law of averages, unless you have bad breath and a bad attitude, 3 or 4 women in every situation you find yourself in probably have their eyes on you. What's scary about this is you could be in a bar, club, shopping mall, anywhere there is women, and you could be missing signals from girls who want to have sex with you. On top of that, if you approach a woman and start a conversation with the wrong body language, you don't stand a chance. When it comes to sleeping with hot women, you need to understand body language. If you don't, you're destined to fail. This bonus will teach you the body language you need to know to make you look confident and in control. It will also show you how to spot her body language signals, such as when a woman wants you to approach her and when she wants you to take her into an alley and unzip your trousers. But remember, you'll need to order before the timer hits 0. As soon as it reaches 0, this page will automatically delete them. You can click the button below this video now to see the price. It's much more affordable than you think, and a tiny price to pay to be having the most frequent, heart-stopping sex with the most gorgeous girls you can possibly imagine. In fact, I was thinking of charging a few $100s for the entire system. After all, if you hire a dating coach to help you, you're typically looking at around $250 per hour for someone who actually knows what they're talking about. But then I remembered back to my days of being frustrated with girls. It sucked. I don't want you to go through the same torture I went through. I want you to be able to sleep with as many women as you want, no matter what you look like or how much money you have. Walk into a bar and have all the guys turn and stare at the woman you are with. Never worry about being cheated on again. Have the unlimited respect and admiration from your male friends and buddies who are envious of your sex life and skills with women. These things are priceless experiences. It's these kind of experiences that make life worth living. And I'm sure I could charge outrageous fees for showing guys everything I know. However, I know you're struggling and I don't want to prey on that. I'd rather be a cool dude and give you a helping hand so you can get this at an affordable price. No extra charges, no hidden fees, nothing like that. You can get full, immediate access to the complete Subliminal Seduction system for just a small one-time payment. That's it. No catch, no clause, no hidden payments. How much? Click the link below. But I assure you it's less than the price of a cup of coffee a day for the next month. Am I crazy? Maybe. The reason I'm offering the best course on the market for hundreds less than most experts sell courses for is because I want revenge on those bastards who are ripping people off left, right, and center. The scumbags who are taking guys' money and making them feel bad rather than powerful. My course is cheaper, better, and more comprehensive than the rubbish they're selling, so my revenge is destroying their business. That's my goal with this. To help you get laid and destroy the business of those that rip me off. And that's why I also offer a guarantee better than theirs. Click the order button below, sign up, and you will gain instant access to the training. In the extremely rare event that you feel the course isn't for you, for any reason, in the next 60 days, simply email us and request a refund, and my support team will process it for you. No questions asked. We'll give you our support email as soon as you become a customer. All you need to do is click the order button below. Fill in your details and you'll gain instant access to the course. No details will show up on your card statement that reveal what this course is, so don't worry about that. Everything is private and confidential. You'll be going through the course in seconds and your trial period will begin. Whilst I can't make up your mind for you, I do want to warn you of something. As you've seen, this website is a bit controversial. The subject matter of rewiring a woman's brain so she connects you with positive emotions and powerful orgasms could be seen as unethical. So this presentation and course will probably not remain online for long. If you put off buying this today and come back tomorrow, it could be gone. The only thing I'm certain of is every day you're not using the system, you're missing out on opportunities that would make your life more exciting. sexually fulfilling, and more enjoyable. What guy wouldn't want that? Combined with the core course, you have everything you need to turn into a guy who will live a life of true excitement and sexual fulfillment. All that's left to do now is click on the order button below. You've reached a fork in the road of your life. You can go one way, which is to just keep doing what you've been doing. If you ignore what I say, you'll just keep getting what you've already got. Considering you're still here, I'm pretty sure you're not sleeping with as many women as you want to. The second path you can take is my course for a 60-day test drive. Remember, I offer a rock-solid guarantee. I'm shouldering all of the risk, not you. If you try this and it's not for you, you get your money back. No risk whatsoever. This is a win-win situation for you, my friend, but only if you take action. Click the order button below.